Hand, would you please introduce yourself? You're on mute. Is there someone in there with you?
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can. Thank you. Would you please give us your full name and DOC number?
Jonathan Hanrahan, 722-685.
Thank you. Mr. Hanrahan, I want to explain our process to you. First, I'm going to read some information into the record. Then the board is going to conduct a parole interview with you. At the end, you'll be allowed to make a brief statement before the board votes. Do you understand our procedure?
Yes, sir.
This is the matter of Jonathan Hanrahan, date of birth August 22nd of 1981. He's classified as a first felony offender, as a parole eligibility date of July 21st of 2022. He's not eligible for good time. He is full-term date of November the 24th of 2035. He is currently serving a 20-year sentence on the charge of indecent behavior with a juvenile, and he was sentenced on June the 12th of 2017. Mr. Hanrahan, does that sound all accurate?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Hanrahan, how old are you, sir?
41,
And how long have you been in prison on these charges?
7 years this month.
Okay. Tell me a little bit about your education. How far did you go in school?
Harrison Central High School in Gulfport, Mississippi.
Did you work when you were outside of prison?
Yes, sir. I'm a mason by trade.
Who are you living with?
On and off on my own. And right before I was incarcerated, I was living in Lafayette, working with a Mexican guy over there.
Tell me a little bit about your drug use. When did you start using drugs?
I was very young,
What's very young?
10, 11, 12.
And what did you start using?
Sorry.
What did you start using?
Marijuana, meth, alcohol, everything. I just got into drugs real heavy at a young age and just kept on and kept on
How often were you using drugs?
every day.
7 years ago, when you got arrested, were you still using drugs?
Very much so. I was using drugs to the point then that I stayed up all night. I got up, went to work, and no sleep. I worked every day. It was just day in and day out. And it really wore me down.
So tell me about the charges that got you here in prison. Tell me what you did.
Well, my daughter was living with me. Her mama was about to send her to a mental hospital because she had been cutting on herself and giving her mama other problems. Well, her and her mama got into a fight. She and her brother come to stay with me for the summer. And my daughter ended up staying with me after that because she did not want to go back to live with her mom. Well, I was high, I was tripping and intoxicated to the point that I was hallucinating. And I woke up, I ain't even gonna lie. Look, I was in the bathroom, I was jacking off. My daughter kept coming in the door, catching me, and she come in there and she sucked my dick. I'm just gonna tell you straight up, there ain't no point lying. It's messed up. Never in my life would I think that something like that would have happened, but it did. I can't do nothing about it.
This happened more than one time.
Sorry,
Happened more than one time. This went on for quite a while, didn't it?
like a week and a half.
Perhaps even longer.
Maybe. I'm not sure. All that time is a blur. I was really, every day for like 8 years, I've been intoxicated on methamphetamines, alcohol. I drunk alcohol to put me to sleep. I did the meth to keep me up going to work. It was just, I wasn't in the right state of mind.
So let's talk a little bit about you back then and now. Have you ever had any sort of mental health evaluation?
Yes, sir.
And what the results of that? Do you know?
Bipolar and paranoid schizophrenic.
And do you take medication now? Have you taken medication in the past?
Yes, sir. I do take medication now.
What are you taking now?
I can't remember the name of the one that I take. I take Elavil at nighttime. I take I'm sorry, I can't remember the name.
It's all right. You take the medication as they give it to you, prescribed and as you take it. Okay. Let's talk about programs that you've taken while you've been in prison. What kind of programs have you taken while you?
Well, when I was at Winfield, I participated in the CRI program. And
What is that?
What's it called?
Well, what did you learn in the program? What was the subject
It
matter?
was a religious program. Celebrating recovery on the inside.
Okay.
And it kind of helped me focus my mind on doing things for myself instead of worrying about what was going on around me. It was a religious program that's not really what I should have got out of it. I should have been more in my Bible, but I wasn't. It was more about coming to peace with what I did. It was about me coming to terms with what happened, I guess you could say, is what that ended up being for me.
You've got to do it on your own time. It takes a while to get all of those things. What other programs have you taken? Have you taken any sex offender treatment while you've been in prison?
No, sir. I haven't had the chance. I never did get to complete the CRI program because the camp turned into an ICE camp for the immigrants. So the last like 2 or 3 weeks before we was to graduate, I got sent here. And since I've been here, I participated in the GED program. And the same thing, I didn't get to finish that because of Corona. They shut the program down and sent the lady back to the college. I was already ready to test out and everything. The only program that I've successfully completed is the anger management program that I've had here.
Now, you have been a full-blown drug addict for years. Is that fair to say?
Yes, sir.
Have you ever had any long-term drug treatment?
No, not really. This,
Did you ever have anything on the outside? Did you ever go to any kind of programs?
no, sir.
Do you think that long-term drug treatment would be beneficial to you?
I don't have a problem with not doing drugs anymore.
Well,
But
I understand. I hear that.
I would be willing to go to a long-term drug program. I would be willing to do that.
Now, can we both agree that you're a drug addict?
I was a drug addict.
Well, you don't think you are now?
No, I know I'm not.
Well, so what caused you to do drugs?
I guess growing up in a broken home, I was
Well,
always,
what happens if you get out of prison and things go bad and you can't find a job and you quit taking your medication and you go back to doing meth and cocaine and everything else you can get your hands on? How are you going to stop doing that?
that's not what I'm trying to do.
I hear you're not trying to do it, but my question is, how are you going to be able to prevent that?
By not doing it.
What you plan to stay sober, other than to tell me, I put all that.
Here's what I'm worried about. I have twins, Kaylee and Austin. Kaylee was the victim. As of right now, my son is telling me what my daughter's been doing. She's in a bad way right now. Never in my life did I think what happened with me and my kids was going to happen, but it did. And I can't help it. My daughter is out whoring around with her mama in Gulfport, Mississippi, in the hood for dope right now.
I hear that. How are you going to be able to stay sober with all of that stress and you trying to solve all of those people's problems? How is it that you think you're not going to go back to using meth? You tell me I'm not a drug addict anymore. I mean, I was expecting you to say, you know, damn it, I'm a drug addict. I'm gonna be a drug addict all my life, and I've got to fight to stay clean. You're telling me, oh, I ain't going back to it. It ain't a big deal. I'm done.
That's what tore my family apart was drugs.
I don't doubt that. And the fifth prison is full of people where drugs have torn their families apart. That's what it does.
It is. That's exactly what it does.
All right. What would be your plan? Where would you live if you were to get out?
Well, I was prepared as of a couple weeks ago. I'm no longer prepared to get the job that I was told that I would be able to have in Lafayette.
Price LeBlanc?
Yes, sir.
What happened on that?
That's a no-go. I was lied to about it. And it took so long for me to even get in contact with the people. By the time I did, there wasn't even a job offer available anymore. I've talked to Ms. Book here at the facility, and she said that she was willing to work with me and see if she could help me find somewhere, such as like a halfway house or something like that for me to get started and get on my feet, because I really have nobody. I burned my bridges my whole life, and it's time for me to get out on my own and make something and try and help my family. But I know that I can't help them until I help myself.
All right, well, that's a good start. That's a good start. Let me ask you this. Tell me a little bit about your disciplinary record. You had any write-ups since you've been in prison?
In Winfield, I had, what did I get in trouble for? Aggravated disobedience.
What was that for? Tell me what happened.
There was a fight between me and another guy, and we just kept trying to get at each other while the lawyers was trying to break us up. So I disobeyed a direct order from one of the lawyers. And also I got a disciplinary write-up for checking out of a dorm over there.
Okay, I think that's all the questions I have. Anyone have any questions? Is there anything you'd like to tell us, Mr. Hanrahan, before we vote?
Not really. I just want y'all to know that I know that I can help myself. And if I do, that'll give me the things that I need to help my kids with what's going on with them right now. My son is doing fine. He's in college. He's doing great. But my daughter is in a situation where she needs help worse than I ever needed help in my life. I just want y'all to know that.
Thank you, Mr. Hanrahan. I appreciate that.
I don't think she want it from you.
Mr. Hanrahan, you know, you've been in prison for 7 years now. I think that you really understand what you've done in the past, and I really do believe you want to change. I think you'd like to get out there and try to help your daughter. But as you've said, you're not going to be able to help anybody until you help yourself. And just more work that you need to do. I think you need to work on a really clear sobriety plan. The fact that you don't think you're an addict is a concern to me. I think you're in denial. You're not going to be able to just go out there and will yourself clean. You're going to have to get some tools to be able to make sure that you can stay sober. I also think you need that sex offender treatment program before you're able to get out. I think that you need to try to get into a long-term program while you've been in the Department of Corrections. I think Steve Hoyle is an excellent program that you can benefit from. I would suggest that you make every effort to try to get into that program. But for today's purposes, my vote today would be to deny.
What program was that you said?
Called Steve Hoyle. It's one of the Department of Corrections' best inpatient long-term drug treatment programs. I think you could really benefit from that. Ms. Jackson.
All right, Mr. Hanrahan, I've heard you today. There's a lot of harm that's been done. And I'm not sure at this point you're the one that's going to reach your daughter, because you're the one that caused her to be in this situation. And so instead of you trying to do it, because she's not going to want to hear from you, to be honest. You need to work on yourself. And I think the best place to do that is where you are, where you have great programs that can help you. So my vote today is going to be to deny, because you need to complete sex offender treatment as well as a long-term substance abuse treatment. and you can get both of those at Steve Ford. So work on yourself. Can't help your daughter, and she's not ready for you to help. So work on yourself. And then maybe in the future, you can reach out to her. My vote today is to deny you.
Thank you. Wise?
Sir, I just got one question. Do you believe in prayer?
Yes, ma'am.
That'll be your assignment right now for your door. Daily, several times a day. Pray for her. My vote is the same for the same reasons. That's what you say, sir.
Mr. Hanrahan, you have 3 votes to deny. You've got a lot of work to do. I think you're on the right track. I think your heart's in the right place, but you really have to work much harder to make sure that you can stay sober, to get out and make sure nothing like this happens again. So good luck to you.
Wow. This was intense. When he,
Are we done there? We will be adjourned at Concordia. Thank you very much for the staff there.
Y'all have a good one.
this is intense. Oh man. When he came out and just like kind of like dropped it totally came by surprise. Holy cow. This was a really interesting one in the sense that he didn't give the impression as like a classic predator pedophile, but instead as just someone who was that high and messed up on drugs and in the head, crazy, and drugs, the way that he was doing it, and apparently will destroy the human in someone. And he's living through hell. I do believe that. And then look at what happened to his daughter. But what I didn't like is his story. He said he's in the bathroom, and then he kind of like said she kept coming in, as if it was like almost as if he was blaming her. That part, I get maybe he just wanted to explain how it ever happened. Versus blame. Maybe just want to explain how it happened. That was intense, though. I need to still talk about this. Hold on. I'm not done getting through this. He had twins. And the boy's in college and the girl's out prostituting with her mother for dope. Look what happened. Look at it. It's just unbelievable. Yeah, it was crazy, the idea that he thinks that he's going to get out and go and save his daughter. Are you kidding me? She doesn't want anything to do with you. She is who she is because of you. I can't see how this ends well, frankly. I think this is why I said it best. Do you believe in prayer? Pray. You created this situation, and that's why you got left. And if you don't believe in prayer, I would still say, well, I don't need to get into that. I do not envy that situation. All right. I can't wait to read your comments on this one, because this is just I need to unpack this, and I don't feel like I can do this on my own.